Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. My name is Sohum and I'm on a mission to spread peace, love, and positivity through music. Today, I'll be giving a first-time reaction to a Grammy-nominated artist named Noah Kahan. We'll be checking out two of Noah's songs today, which should give us a good idea of what he's all about. So we'll start with Stick Season and then end with Orange Juice. Like I said, this is my first time checking out Noah, so I don't know what to expect from him. Upon a quick Google, apparently he's in the realm of indie and folk pop, which are two genres that are exciting to me, but also not genres that I typically venture into on this channel. You guys can see all of the various things that I check out here. It's a diverse set of artists to be sure. So for me, I'm just excited to check this out today. And that is all thanks to our anonymous requester. So thank you very much, Anonymous, for the donation request and the selections today. It means the world to me. But now, let's just jump in. Let's see what Noah's all about. And a cool name too, Noah Kahan. Seatbelt fashioned.
As you promised me that I was more than all the miles combined, you must have had yourself a change of heart like halfway through the drive, because your voice trailed off exactly as you passed my exit sign. Kept on driving straight and left our future to the right. Now I am stuck between my anger and the blame that
The lyrical delivery here is very fast.
Exactly as you passed my exit sign. Kept on driving straight and left our future to the right. Now I am stuck between my anger and the blame that I can't face. And memories or something, even smoking weed does not replace. And I am terrified of weather, cause I see you when it rains. Doc told me to travel, but there's COVID on the planes. And I love Vermont, but it's the season of the sticks. And I saw your mom, she forgot that I existed.
Wow.
It's half my fault, but I just like to play the victim. I'll drink alcohol till my friends come home for Christmas. And I'll dream each night of some version of you that I might not have, but I did not lose. Now your tire tracks in one pair of shoes, and I'm split in half, but that'll have to do.
I'm messing so hard with this vocal melody.
That if I piled something good and
there's the kick drum in there. It's all so fast paced with the vocal delivery, right? Each of the lyrics, it's a very verbose song. You know, you're stacking a lot of these syllables together, and then underlying is also a very fast strummed acoustic guitar. So there's a lot of movement in all of it. And then when there's like that moment to just kind of rest and relax, we take it, we breathe in that fresh air, and then hammer home into the next section. Very, very pleasant so far, I gotta say. We'll talk about the lyrics afterwards, but there is a lot here to unpack, and it's funny to me how bright and like happy almost melodically this sounds, despite the lyrics being rather sad.
Split in half, but that'll have to do. So I thought that if I piled something good and all my bad, that I could cancel out the darkness I inherited from Dad. No, I am no longer funny, cause I missed the way you laughed. You once called me forever, now you still can't call me back. And I love Vermont, but it's the season of the sticks. And I saw your mom, she forgot that I existed. And it's half my fault, but I just like to play the victim. I'll drink alcohol till my friends come home for Christmas, and I'll dream each night of some version of you that I might not have, but I
notice there the flip into the falsetto, but it's not just a clean transition. There's a bit of that vocal cry that demarks the transition from the kind of chest voice passaggio into the higher falsetto range for the male voice. I'll pull it back here. It's almost like a temporary yodel.
Then I'll dream each night of some version of you that I might not have, but
that's the flip.
Did not lose. Now your tire tracks in one pair of shoes, and I'm split in half, but that'll have to do.
Wow, I love that hook right
Oh,
there.
that'll have to.
Dude.
My other half was you.
And you hear the
I
banjo
hope this
too.
pain's just passing through, but I doubt it. 'Cause I love Vermont, but it's the season of the sticks, and I saw your mom. She forgot that I existed, and it's half my fault, but I just like to play the victim. I'll drink alcohol till my friends come home for Christmas, and I'll dream each night of some version of you that I might not have, but I did not lose. Now your tire tracks in one pair of shoes, and I'm split in half. That'll have to do, have to do.
Ambient noise. That's a super pleasant song, you know, short but sweet, filled with energy. I mean, the entire way through there is that rather fast-paced rhythm that I was referring to that appears in the vocals and definitely in just the tempo with that acoustic guitar, and then the banjo that finds its way into the arrangement. But interestingly, the vocals actually deviated from their speed at certain points, especially in the chorus. It almost felt like the verses he would be in lockstep with that underlying rhythm, but then his delivery would almost go into a halftime feel during the chorus, where each of the words are given 2 times the amount of space to breathe and be heard, and it just helped to serve the main hook of the song. Really pleasant. I really like this like gentle folk pop feel. Of course, this is in the world of folk pop, but there's a gentleness to it that is very charming to me. And I took the liberty here, I'll share the part of the screen, of looking up what the Seasons of the Sticks actually refers to, because that's not something that I was familiar with. So according to Google AI, stick season refers to the period between the end of fall foliage and the start of winter, specifically after the leaves have fallen and before the snow has arrived. That's cool. I never heard of a stick season before. Maybe it's just when the leaves are gone, the trees are just barren, but there's no snow quite yet. That makes sense to me. Let's jump into the lyrics here. So, as you promised me that I was more than all the miles combined, you must have had yourself a change of heart like halfway through the drive. As you promised me that I was more than all the miles combined. So this pairs well with the video, and this is something I was actually going to bring up about the video, but I love the aspect ratio that it was shot in. You can kind of see this square framing. It's not exactly 1920 by 1080, which is typical. And I'm not one to really comment on videography or cinematography. I mean, look at my channel. We don't have the highest production quality over here. But there's something uniquely nostalgic about this box kind of shape. But, back to the lyrics here, in this car that he's driving, he's driven many miles, and it seems like the person he was sharing that drive with no longer wants to accompany him. Because your voice trailed off exactly as you passed my exit sign. You kept on driving straight and left our future to the right. So instead of veering off the course and going through life together in the various pathways that it could take, you decided to just do your own thing rather than bend with me. And that's something that I've kind of thought of and conceptualized as it relates to relationships. The idea of two people existing, and really what defines how close they are is the moment in time that you're in analyzing them. Because, let's say at the beginning of dating, you feel like you're very close perceptually because you're in that kind of, what would you call it, honeymoon stage. But then as you get closer and closer, you find real love and it builds. But then with time, you start to change, but you realize you're changing and you want to wind and weave and close that distance once again. Sometimes if the distance is unbridgeable or another person doesn't want to close that gap, then they just end up moving the direction that they're going, and now you've kind of moved to the right, which is now just your own direction too. You didn't find some commonality that kept you together. Now I'm stuck between my anger and the blame that I can't face. Ooh, here we go. And memories and something even smoking weed doesn't replace. And I'm terrified of weather because I see you when it rains. Doc told me to travel, but there's COVID on the planes. I mean, the grief, losing a relationship, and you feel many mixed emotions, right? He has anger, he's blaming the other, maybe even himself. Anger about, how could you do this to me? We had something together. Having to reconcile all of these things, it is not easy. And, grief itself is not a linear process either. It's best to just express everything and feel it earnestly and, work through it in that way. And weed certainly is not going to help because that dampens your, relationship to the self. It may feel like you're able to get closer, but in reality, who you are without any adulterants is the version you need to kind of patch up and heal and, then move forward rather than using a sort of like Band-Aid solution to mask the hurt feelings in the current moment. And so, when it does become very sad, right, rains as a metaphor, I'm scared of that sadness because it is so overwhelming. And then I think this is just more of like a funny, like referential bar to the time period of when the song was released. Because, hey, it makes sense to just like move on from this situation, but something is keeping me stuck right here at home, trapped in this, psychological loop. And I love Vermont, but it's the season of the sticks. And I saw your mom, she forgot that I existed, and it's half my fault, but I just like to play the victim. I'll drink alcohol till my friends come home for Christmas. So this establishes like the place we're at. So we're in Vermont. It's East Coast, beautiful weather over there. I think traveled once through Vermont. And now that it's the season of the sticks, this time period where there's a transition that's happened, but there's not quite the new season yet. We're in that kind of liminal space, that feeling of what will happen still. How can I like see past where I was and move on? And even now, you're still seeing memories of the past. You see the mom like in the grocery store and she doesn't remember you anymore. She doesn't care. And it's half my fault now. I like that because it puts, agency on both actors in this relationship. Because, of course, usually in relationships, things are a lot more complicated than just one person being the problem. So understanding like, hey, it's half my fault, but I like to play the victim. It's a very honest look at, how people can feel. Because it's like, man, I thought I did all of these amazing things and we had this shared trust together. And now I'm just going to play victim because I just feel like set in my ways. And, despite these things that we were hoping for not coming true, and it could have been her, her and my contribution to its decline, I'm not going to take more of that responsibility for now. I'm going to be full victim mode for the moment, which, people do that. And then obviously wallow in the sadness. And I'll dream each night of some version of you that I might not have, but I did not lose, like romanticizing the partner. Now your tire tracks and one pair of shoes and I'm split in half, but that'll have to do. So it's devastating. I lost this person and I think fondly of the fond memories that are there. And maybe I'm over exaggerating those positives as well in my mind because I feel alone and I am, besides myself, split in half. It's a hard thing to contend with. Being alone isn't very easy, especially if you had been with somebody for quite some time. So I thought that if I piled something good on all my bad, that I could cancel out the darkness I inherited from my dad. Wow. Entering the generational sort of trauma here. No, I am no longer funny because I miss the way you laugh. You once called me forever. Now you still can't call me back. I think right here, just like at a initial glance, these might be the most important lyrics of the song. Piling something good on the bad. It's almost the same thing equivalently as like distracting oneself from the problems that we're facing mentally. Sweeping things under the rug, never a solution. Putting things on top of the thing that you're avoiding, also not a solution because it's fermenting under there. It's constantly calling up above and saying like, hey, you need to deal with me because I'm not going to let you out of my grasp. And until you do, anything good that you do on top of it isn't going to simply, replace those negative feelings. You have to contend with them. And canceling out the darkness I inherited from my dad. So I think the bad here, it's almost like not even related to the relationship itself. It's actually about his own emotional affect in life and his upbringing and where some of, let's say, his own poor tendencies come from that could have contributed to the demise of this relationship. So no, I am no longer funny because I miss the way you laugh. That is so interesting to me because it implies that like he is the puzzle piece for this other person. So I was funny, but only to you. And that's one of the reasons why we kind of fit together. So now because we aren't even together, I can't make you laugh. I can't make anybody else laugh. The only reason I was funny was because of you. So now I lost that aspect of my character. So you once called me forever. Now you still can't call me back. And now, the door is shut. The relationship seems to be completely over from her end. Then we get the repetition here. And the romanticization again, another set of repetition. And then here, oh, that'll have to do. My other half was you. So after being split in half, I hope that pain's just passing through, but I doubt it. Pain is interesting because it's going to occur in the short term, like the momentary things that happen in your day. They will inflict hurt on you, pain, and then you can get over it. But other pain is residual. It kind of creeps back. And the pain of losing a relationship and feeling all of the mixed emotions from that, it is not equivalent pain. It is not predictable pain necessarily, but it is pain nonetheless. And it continues to kind of eat at you, and being able to understand reframing what pain even is helpful in the direction of improvement and change, building yourself into somebody capable of handling that kind of pain and moving forward healthily rather than holding on to it indefinitely despite it reoccurring. Because there's a thing that can happen. You feel pain from something and it makes sense that you did, and the next time that thing happens you may feel less pain because you've dealt with it before. You know how to contend with it while still remaining authentic rather than just pretending like it's not real. So some pain can pass through, some pain is more kind of sticky. And I guess we have more repetition here, but the last most important line that gets repeated, I'm split in half, but that'll have to do. It's accepting the pain, accepting these hurt, conflicting emotions and not ignoring it, because that can happen. As we discussed about like the weed and the different tendencies to like pile good things on top of the bad or even push the bad things away. Embracing the bad, even though it sounds bad on the surface, is actually such an important skill to learn, because once you've embraced the bad, you actually understand it and then can learn how to deal with it and learn what you value. Do you value the things that make you feel bad, or do you value the things that make you feel good? And then you reform your life towards a direction that feels better for you rather than being problematic and not serving you. And that could include your own thought patterns and actions and behaviors, not just an external person's impact on you, if you see my point. Beautiful first song. Let's jump into Orange Juice here.
Honey, come over. The party's gone slower, and no one will tempt you. We know you got sober.
It's a little slower moving than the first.
Orange juice in the kitchen.
Orange juice.
Bought for the children.
They're married.
It's yours if you want it. We're just glad you could visit. Feels like
Visit right away. I'm like gonna hone in on that word and let it guide my interpretation as we go forward here. But you visiting rather than already being a part of it, I think that framing may be important.
could visit. Feels like I've been ready for you to come home
Oh God, I love his vocals.
for so long
He's a very gentle singer.
that I didn't think to ask you where you'd gone. Why'd you go?
Very earnest of a question.
And you said,
Oh, I got chills on that drop.
and you said,
You said what? Just the music?
you said my heart has changed and my soul has changed in my heart, in my heart, that my face has changed and I haven't drank in 6 months on the dot. See the graves as you pass through from my crash back in.
I think a very subtle note here, but if you pay attention in the background of this recording, I feel like there is a very light, bright vocal. It's like sitting right atop in the clouds.
In 6 months on the dot. See the graves as you pass through from my crash back in 02. Not one nick on your finger. You just asked me to hold you, but it made you a stranger and filled you with anger. Now I'm third in the lineup to your Lord and your Savior. Feels like I've been ready for you to come home so long that I didn't think to ask you where you'd gone. So why'd you go? You said,
I love the way this song has built these dynamics.
you said, you said my heart has changed and my soul has changed in my heart, that my life has changed, that this town had changed, you had not, that the world has changed. Don't you find it strange that you just went ahead and carried on? And you know I'd say the last time I drank I was face down, passed out there in your lawn. And we all just close to you now. Are we all just pulling you down? You didn't put those bones in the ground. You didn't put those bones in the ground. Honey, come over.
I love the darkness that kind of settled into that last section. It almost felt like you could end this song very ominously. Here it's brightening up, but this is just such an emotional song and experience. I'm a big fan.
You didn't put those bones in the ground.
Da-da-da. Beautiful melodies throughout as well.
Honey, come over. party's gone slower, and no one will tempt you. We know you got sober. There's orange juice in the kitchen.
Now it makes sense. The orange juice.
For the children.
It's not just... Wow.
It's yours if you want.
It plays many roles.
We're just glad you could visit.
Wow, that is an extremely deep song. And you know, when you have like a song title, something as seemingly simple, or you know, you could even call it innocuous, as orange juice, the back of my mind goes like, but this orange juice, it's not going to be like a silly song about orange juice. This is going to be something a bit more profound. At least that's like the kind of basal feeling that I get. And it delivered, and there's so much to unpack here. I want to speak briefly on the song itself before jumping into the lyrics here. I really like the pleasant melodies and Noah's vocals. They're just so soothing to the ear. You ever like find a YouTuber or a voice actor, a singer, who you hear their voice anytime they say anything, you're just like, man, they sound good to listen to, regardless of even the lyrics, regardless of even the melodies. There's just something about their voice that just feels like honey to you. Noah has that. He has a very, very soft voice in that regard, and it just puts you at ease. And I will always appreciate good voices like that. And I think also what I was going to note, structurally in this song, you can kind of feel for the moments where the song builds from chorus to chorus to chorus. They get bigger, more instruments get added, the intensity is there, and then everything, when that tension finally reaches a boiling point, it dissipates and softens and kind of flattens out in a satisfying way. So, big fan of the music. Let's jump into the lyrics here. So we start, honey, come over, the party's gone slower, and no one will tempt you. We know you got sober. So right away, alcoholism, that is a focus of our discussion here. The party, for whatever it was that initiated the drinking, it's not there. The peer pressure is not going to be there. Let's try to get you sober now. And we know that you've actually passed your own alcoholism, so you won't be tempted either. Because you could imagine the party as being one moment in time, or just the overarching umbrella of a party across time. There's orange juice in the kitchen, bought for the children. It's yours if you want it. We're just glad you could visit. And right there, I was almost thinking like this person was completely estranged from the family, but the reason specifically is because of their alcoholic tendencies. So we are inviting you. The orange juice is an invitation to join our family, to be a part of this lovely family that we have. Sorry, the camera shutting off kind of derailed my train of thought momentarily. It's bought for the children, but because it also can be used to sober you up, that may be more important. And take it, please. It's yours if you want it. We're just glad you could visit. The most important thing here is that you are here with us, that we're together rather than apart, because oftentimes these vices, they pull families apart. Feels like I've been ready for you to come home for so long that I didn't think to ask you, where'd you gone? Why'd you go? And you said, and you said, feels like I've been ready for you. Like, yeah, you want this person to come home because you feel the separation, but it's also important to ask, why was there separation to begin with? What catalyzed the initial, drawing apart, or somebody diving deeper into a different vice? Because if you are going to stay together, you want to avoid triggers that could lead down those paths potentially. So here I thought maybe like this person's going to be dismissive about it, but actually what immediately follows is a bit of an explanation. You said, my heart has changed and my soul has changed, and my heart that my face has changed and I haven't drank in 6 months on the dot. Are we switching the narrator? Are we switching the perspective here? It's almost like now the chorus is from the perspective of the individual drinking. You, the person witnessing my sort of descent, are saying that I've changed. But I haven't drank in 6 months. That actually confuses me a little bit. Let's keep reading. See the graves as you pass through. From our crash back in '02, not one nick on your finger. You just asked me to hold you. The graves as you pass through. This is like darker imagery. It could be kind of a metaphor for the things going wrong in the relationship. It could literally be describing this environment of where the crash had taken place. No, not one nick on your finger. You just asked me to hold you. Even though there were no external signs of something going wrong, internally something was up, and you just needed me to be there for you. Because of the switcheroo here, I'm not really sure who the narrator is now. So I'm gonna almost like play both sides of this dynamic, and view it more from like a familial lens to help clarify my thinking. But it made you a stranger and filled you with anger. Now I'm third in the lineup to your Lord and your Savior. So switching the priorities, and now you have been filled with anger because of the situation that you were a part of. And I think alcohol is being used to remedy their own feelings about it. Feels like I've been ready for you to come home for so long, so get this repetition here. You said my heart has changed and my soul has changed. Yeah, I'm very curious if the perspective is changing here. That's my intuition. But let's keep going. That my life has changed, that this town had changed and you had not. That the world has changed. Don't you find it strange that you just went ahead and carried on? So now I definitely feel like the perspective has changed, and it's like you were able to move on so quickly from me. I was dealing with this thing internally, and it manifested into alcoholism, and now you were so quick to drop me. Are we actually bonded together? And I think what needs to be stated here is like doing things like, going down wrong paths can weaken those bonds. So it's not just on one person to hold strong indefinitely. It requires both people to be active in their relationship. But the framing here is you just went ahead and carried on with my problems going on. And I'd say the last time I drank, I was face down, passed out there on your lawn. Describing the situation sort of like towards its worst. But are we all just crows to you now? Are we all just pulling you down? You didn't put those bones in the ground. So crows, right, they appear as like foreboding symbols. Like a murder of crows. It's not a good to be described as a crow. Are we pulling you down? Are we making things worse for you? You didn't put those bones in the ground. This to me is like about where the genesis for the issue may have come from. This is almost like you didn't intend for these issues to be the way that they are, but now they are the way that they are. And honey, come over, the party's gone slower, no one will tempt you, we know you got sober. There's orange juice in the kitchen, bought for the children, it's yours if you want it, we're just glad you could visit. I want to just look up the meaning of this, just so we have the right the right gist now, because I think I have a good idea, but I want to make sure that I'm not getting lost in some of the details. So, Orange Juice tells the story of two friends separated by a traumatic event, with one finding religion and moving forward while the other stays in the town where the accident occurred. The song explores how trauma can simultaneously bind and divide people. often leading to emotional distance rather than closeness, and also draws from Kahan's personal struggles with addiction and lost friendships. Man, shout out to Google AI for having all of the answers here. That is a perfect synopsis of everything that was going on. I was thinking this was more to do with like a husband and wife, a family dynamic that because of alcoholism caused by some event or just something basally in life, they're now being pulled apart, and we're trying to reinvite the individual. I didn't really get the idea of finding religion in this part, in this song, but I can definitely see the ways that people differ in their trauma responses and can separate them, really. And the orange juice, it's all about perception, really, but like you could take a different perspective as well. Like the orange juice is an invitation from me to you, like, hey, I want to give you something, I want to accept you, I want to help you in the situation dealing with, let's say, the alcoholism, and the person dealing with the alcoholism could look at that orange juice and have an entirely different perspective, almost view it as something given out of pity or charity, and they're unwilling to accept it, or accepting it kind of forces them to then acknowledge the problem that is afflicting them. There's many ways that things can be perceived, so I think we should always look for the best of intentions, and if we're unclear of what somebody's intentions are, it's better to ask rather than to kind of live in that space of, well, I'll just assume what they meant by something. It's not just about that specific perspective shift on orange juice, it's about everything, the perspective of the event itself and how it affects individuals differentially. I mean, you can't ask people to feel something different than they feel. You just have to kind of understand what it is they're feeling, why they may be feeling that way, and move to a direction where you at least acknowledge the differences and could find reconciliation through that, because now the context has sort of shifted and you now have to find new footing together if you do decide to stay together in your friendship. And I've lost many friendships in my life. Many of you have lost friendships in your life that for unstated reasons just fall apart. And you went one way, they went another, and you guys didn't decide to remain close. And that's a almost joint decision. Could be spurred on by trauma or something rather nominal. But regardless, and I think this also pairs well with the first track we listened to, being close, deciding to do things, it is a decision. Whether you stay together or not. And you kind of have to continue to make that decision in the affirmative over and over and over again to do the entire journey of life together. So this is my first foray into the world of Noah Kahan. I hope you all enjoyed my reaction. If you did and want to request one yourself, whether it's more Noah or anyone else for that matter, you can do so by clicking the first link in the description box below. It's the best way to support my channel. But as always, my friends, have a wonderful rest of your day. Take care and peace.